I own two franchise stores, both profitable, both growing, and I sold them. I sold them not because they were failing, but I sold them because of something that nobody tells you, especially when you get into franchises or into a business. You never really own a franchise. Not like other businesses. You never really own it. It's never really yours. It's a job you buy. It's the illusion of freedom. It's the promise of success with half the payoff. And the funny thing is, I actually had better legal terms than other franchisees did. I had much more favorable terms. I had much more better negotiation skills. Yet I still sold them. Now here's the hard part, and here's the part no one tells you. Because the stores were successful and the money was good, feels like you were winning. Feels like you were making just enough steps to keep you on the hook, just enough, so you don't pull yourself out of the dream, out of the illusion, out of the rat race, out of the chase. Look, the reality is, any franchise, you're going to hit a ceiling, and that ceiling is not your fault. It's just the way a franchise will operate. You'll never make it past the limitations of what the franchise is and does. You're set by a set of rules and boundaries, and you can't operate in the way that you want to operate. So I want to walk you through a couple of things, using my examples as a franchise owner, as a business owner, as a bricks and mortar owner, to help you guys understand some of the businesses' do's and don'ts. What kind of businesses you can invest in, what kind of businesses you can grow, and what kind of support and help you can give to different types of businesses. So if this is the type of video that you're interested in, please leave a like, a comment, and let me know what kind of businesses you want to support or do. Let's get into it. So, to tell you the story about my stores, I have to start with the story about my brand. So, as some of you who have watched my previous videos have seen, I own a brand called 13 Lives, which is a supplement brand found across multiple countries. That brand, plus my stores and the selling of those stores, has given me that freedom to live where I want, move around and do whatever I want, which is really why a lot of people start businesses. So when I first entered my stores, I actually entered it just during COVID. The reason was because the brand was growing, but where I was living, Sydney, we were about to face lockdowns, which means stores would have started to have less revenue, less orders, less people coming through because people were scared. So I'm like, I need a second source of income that is more stable and predictable. What better way than bricks and mortars? So one of my clients, who owns a chain of stores, he's like, well, why don't you join the franchise? In return, you'll get some preferable treatment for your brand, and you can be part of the family, and you can help grow with the family, and you'll have a store. Now, at the time, it made a lot of sense. I was like, let's do it. This makes sense. It's a great idea. It wasn't. It wasn't because at the time I didn't consider that jumping into bed with one particular group would have alienated me from all the other groups that I was selling to already. They thought I was an inside agent and whatnot. So, and it makes perfect sense, and something I should have foreseen. The problem is, some of the people that were giving me criticism, they also weren't placing exactly necessarily big orders, or their payments were really late. Basically just really shit clients. So I'm like, well, in the grand scheme of things, it would have been a net more positive to join this franchise and have preferential trading terms, right? The problem started arising later on, and this is where a lot of contractual agreements need to be made. And in my case, I actually had proper documentation, and still it ended up being the franchisee would push something or forget something or reinterpret something. And then really, when you think about it, like, to get into a legal battle with this stuff, like, you're always going to end up losing more than you win. And then it just creates more problems, and no one wants to be in an endless lawsuit, right? So make sure you pick your battles. That's really important. And to any young business out there, if you're starting a business, never join a franchise. This is my solid advice to you. Never join a franchise. Never join a business model where someone else owns the house, right? If someone else owns your customers, if someone else owns the name, and someone else owns the lease, you do not have a business. You have a job, and you're basically you're paying for the job. In Australia, for example, you're better off actually just working for the place. You'll end up making more money. So my opinion is, when you guys start a business, make sure you're starting a business that is your own intellectual property. It is your own, it's your own ideas. Everything's trademarked and registered, and no one can tell you how to run something and what to do. The second thing is your customers will be the most valuable asset to you. And I know a lot of people say that, and that sounds obvious, but no, I need to re-emphasize that your customers will determine the strength and leverage that you have. If you have a lot of customers, no one customer can leverage against you, and that is huge. So that's in the B2B space. Now, in the D2C, so direct-to-consumer space, you're playing with the whole field, and that's probably the best spot to be in because your margins are bigger, right? You don't have a middle ground, you don't have a distributor to play with, you don't have to manage the relationship piece as much because you're getting consistent customers. So you have to work out what kind of business model you want to run, and whatever that business model is, just remember that at the end of the day, the more customers you have, the more diverse portfolio of customers you have, the less leverage some of these customers will have against you. Because let me tell you the truth, any big customer will try bend you over and backwards and take whatever they can from you to the point where they will siphon out of your business and you will have nothing left. And they do that because, well, they will just say this is business. It's just part of the way they operate. And it is your job as a director, it is your job as a business owner to safeguard yourself against people like that. You will make money from them, but you need to also consider the fact that they will try to make all the money from you, extract you down to the point where you have nothing, and then move on and so forth. And that usually happens with the small to medium brands or the small to medium businesses that offer services. They'll come to you and be like, oh, run us the special deal. And you look at the numbers and it's like, oh, I'm making fuck all, but it's still going to be good for the portfolio, for the marketing. Try not to fall into that trap too much. And if you are going to use a major business as a, let's call it as a proof of work concept type of thing, make sure you heavily mark the fact that you're doing the job that you're doing for them. So you're really making sure everyone is aware of it. There's that connection. Otherwise, you're getting no benefit out of it. So guys, very, very simple video. Franchises, my experience is avoid them like the plague. Make sure you own your IP, you own your customers, you own your stock, you own your lease, which is also very important. So you have control of everything that you do. And when you get into an agreement with any of the big boys, make sure you cross your T's and you definitely dot your I's, because they will find ways to wiggle out of agreements. Never rely on a handshake agreement. And if they're adamant on not doing a proper agreement, then that's a red flag already. Anyone's like, that gives that whole like, oh, I just do it old school. Trust me, when push comes to shove, they do not do it old school. They will try to bend you over. Guys, if you found some value from this video, I invite you to subscribe, like, and share. Let me know about your business experiences. Have you ever been a franchisee? Do you own a current franchise? Are you experiencing franchise problems? Well, if you are, actually own a system called Staffless. It helps a lot of franchises move and navigate through the problems that I went through, because staffing is a major issue, and I've eliminated a lot of pain points for a lot of people. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one.